Hi, welcome to my channel. I often think of life not as a timeline, but as a vast ocean where we navigate by the stars of our deepest connections. Sometimes a storm comes, sudden and overwhelming, and it shifts the very constellations we steer by. But it is in that quiet aftermath that we learn to look up and truly see in the light. I'm speaking to you today from a place of quiet acceptance, earned through a decade of shedding what the world told me I should be, and embracing the silent truth of who I am. This is the story about the fragile strength of a human heart, the distance between homes, and the surprising freedom found not in achievement, but in choosing practice of living. It begins with a profound absence and the slow, deliberate work of learning how to fill that space with purpose again. This journey is from urgency to peace, from striving to simply being. If you, too, are standing at the edge of a great change, this reflection is for you. Nearly 10 years have passed since my mother left us, yet the memory of the last time I saw her in our Mexico home remains raw. Living in Canada meant our meetings were finite, just twice a year, which dramatically magnified the changes. That December of 2015, I walked and I saw her sitting on her bed. Her smile was radiant, but her presence diminished. She seemed so small, so tiny and ethereal, a stark contrast to the powerful woman I remembered. When I pulled her into a hug, the tenderness of her bones was frightening. I held her, trying to infuse my strength into her, feeling her lightness as a prophecy I wasn't ready to hear. We went to the hospital soon after, and 4 weeks later she was gone. Those days were an agonizing lesson in letting go, a sadness so profound it still brings swift, uninviting tears to my eyes when I allow myself to trace those final moments. I watched her fade, and part of my own light dimmed with her. The aftermath was a long, desolate winter of the soul, a period of profound sadness that stretched out for 2 full years. For the first 12 months, the grief was a hair trigger. The mere mention of her name could shatter my composure. Slowly, the second year introduced space, allowing me to think of other things without the immediate sting. It was in that void at 42 years old that I fundamentally rethought my priorities. Alone in Canada, I thrived in my solitude as an introvert, yet I felt the sharp edge of isolation from those I loved. I realized what was truly important, my family, and the absolute necessity of being there for others when they need you. This shift taught me to manage the difficulty balance between the life I enjoy in Canada and the deep and familiar pull of Mexico. Before this great shifting of perspective, my ambition was a relentless engine. I was intensely eager to prove my value as an engineer, pouring 60 hours a week into work, with my self-worth intrinsically tied to professional output. Simultaneously, I was learning the harsh and subtle language of corporate politics, a game I was ill-suited for. Valuing honesty, I was often too candid in my assessment, a trait that rarely helped me to climb the traditional ladder. I saw colleges advance through strategic maneuvering while I advanced only through merit. This disparity led to an important realization. I would grow professionally not by climbing one ladder, but by changing companies that truly value my skills and deep knowledge. This nomadic approach, moving to where my expertise was celebrated, allowed me to build a foundation of true value that no amount of political maneuvering could erode. This accumulation of experiences, particularly my mother's passing and unexpected laid-off, taught me to redefine my relationship with work. I began viewing my job as a place where I could practice engineering, something I genuinely love, but not as a place to pour my entire soul or identity. It became a practical contract, 8 hours a day to engage my intellect, and then a deliberate exit to pursue the vast expanse of other important things life held. This healthy detachment was first forged back in 2002 during the dot-com recession, which delivered a brutal wake-up call. I was let go, and the illusion of being indispensable was shattered. I learned that a company is a transactional entity. You are an asset, and once you are deemed no longer useful or too expensive, you will be released. That early lesson became armor, teaching me to always prioritize self-care and self-sufficiency over corporate loyalty. The lessons learned in 2002 and solidified in 2015 were put to the ultimate test in 2025, when I faced my second laid-off nearly after 20 years of work. This time, the emotional architecture of my life was stronger. I realized I was not personally, professionally, or economically fragile. I could navigate this hurtful time with calm and measured plan. Fortunately, within 2 months, I had secured another position. Although the salary was 40% lower, it was a grounded reminder. My life must always adjust to the income I have, and I would be fine. The greatest realization of this laid-off was the profound peace afforded by my diligence. I discovered I had the freedom to retire early at 52 if I choose to. My diligence had built a sanctuary of peace of mind, transforming financial security into emotional freedom. Now, as I settle into this new role, I carry a different energy because I work because I want to, not because I need to. This shift in perspective is everything. It allows me to engage with new products and technologies with genuine curiosity and zero stress. I can enthusiastically pour my mind and intellect into tasks for 8 hours, soaking up the professional enjoyment, and then, without apology, I leave. In a way, I feel beautifully semi-retired. The work is easier, the creative flow is more fluid, and I'm released from the stress of being pressured to accomplish or climb. I experience a pure, unadulterated joy in the simple opportunity to practice engineering. I am in control of my time, my energy, and my focus, a kind of professional liberty I never imagined possible. My future coordinates are set by the magnetic pull of home, anticipating a move back to Mexico soon. But until that chapter begins, the greatest lesson from this journey is to embrace the present with intention. The free time I have created for myself is now a sacred resource, used deliberately to see and enjoy the people I love, to explore the places that feed my soul, and to actively learn new things. The true measure of a successful life is not the depth of your title, but the richness of your connections and the peace in your heart. I carry my mother's love as a quiet fire, warming the space between my solitude and my community, allowing me to finally live in the fullness of both worlds. And so, this is where the road has led me, to the realization that our greatest losses are often the catalyst for our most profound growth. I learned that the fragile feeling of holding my mother in my arms was a mirror to my own fragile yet immense capacity for love and endurance. We are constantly in flux, moving between homes and states of being, but the anchor of our inner truth must remain steady. If you take anything from my story today, let it be this: build a life that is resilient, not rigid. Save not just for retirement, but for peace of mind. Work not just for a paycheck, but for the sheer joys of practice. And above all, never postpone the time you can spend with the people who are the very landscape of your heart. The years move quickly, but the love we share slows time down to a manageable, beautiful rhythm. Go forth and live with intention, with calmness, and with the full knowledge of your unbreakable, quiet strength. I wish you all the best on your journey. And this is the first video I made in English. It was not easy, but as every journey, it brings its own pride of making things few there to do. Be out in the public, speaking in another language. I hope you enjoyed this reflection and see you later. Bye.